a yawn. You were fine a second ago.
I was, but as soon as I sat up.
The second we always do this podcast intro, one of us is stretching or yawning.
Why does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, hey, welcome to the podcast.
Happy Monday if you're listening to this on a Monday, or a happy whatever day.
If after the podcast you find yourself wanting some more RIOT, there's a new Obadiah Plays that has been posted for Ni no Kuni 2.
You can watch and play that.
That was something that happened Friday afternoon. So I actually did it, guys. I said I was going to, and I did it.
That's follow through.
It is follow through. It continues to be a pain in the butt. Like every time.
Follow through with something?
Well, follow through and like the streaming thing.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what I hook up or how I do it. Something somewhere is not right when I go to do it again.
Yeah.
Even if I don't touch anything.
It's just hard.
It drives me crazy.
Well, that you can watch if you go to RadioU RIOT on Facebook, and of course our RadioU RIOT YouTube channel too.
We got a weird run of animal stories in today's podcast. We go from fish to bees to bears.
You know, it's what we do.
It's normal. We talk about how Netflix is different for men and women.
Actually, that's fascinating. If you're a Netflix user, it's worth checking out if you have a couple of profiles.
And then some Fortnite talk and some Star Trek talk and...
You know, the big news stuff of the day.
We
didn't talk about the one guy, the football Johnny Manziel.
We didn't talk about Johnny Manziel and what a terrible weekend he had.
Well, on Friday, he started his Canada.
His Canada.
His Canadian, that's what I was trying to go for, football career.
He had played, he's been in the CFL the whole season, but he got traded, and it was his first game starting on Friday night, and he threw 4 interceptions.
Well, see, we talked about
quarter.
it. Now we don't have to tomorrow. We covered it.
We did. Well, maybe we'll dig it out for tomorrow. So, and I said I was going to watch Canadian football. No, I streamed Obadiah Plays instead.
You did other work.
So, hey, you guys have a fantastic start to the week. And Nikki and I, we're going to be here. So
we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Awful, terrible, horrible, pathetic. Someone grab me a thesaurus. I'm gonna need more words to describe how bad these guys are. It's the worst of the RIOT on RadioU.
And Nikki, I noticed you're sitting up fairly well.
Well, yeah.
Posture seems to be okay-ish.
We're trying to have good posture.
Okay. Because I'm looking at some research here that says the posture could have a way bigger impact on you than you think. You're like, yes, long term, your back is not meant to be hunched like that.
Over our phones, like one is throughout most of the day.
No. Researchers at San Francisco State University say that posture affects your ability to think.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They said that it literally...
You need to be in an alignment or something?
Well... I mean, I don't know that they don't say it exactly like that, but the idea is they say that being hunched over has a tendency to bring out feelings of inferiority. It just, let's see, they say it shuts people down and their brains have a harder time functioning. But they say when sitting up straight, people have a tendency to think better and perform better.
And just feel better about themselves.
And I was going to say, feel better about the performance they're giving, which is sometimes, the snake eating itself. So you're feeling better, so you're doing better, and you're doing better because you're feeling better.
Sure, it makes sense.
Okay, and so here's what they ended up doing. They took a bunch of people from high school, and they had them either sit up straight during a test or slouch during a test. Then they took their scores and did some comparing, and then they also asked them how they felt about how they did on the test. And what they found is the people that sat up straighter performed better, and then they also felt better.
I feel like, and I've always been tempted to get one, there's like a thing you can wear around your shoulders to kind of really show that you're having correct posture.
Does it force your shoulders back?
I think it does. It's something you just kind of wrap around your arms, and then it goes in the back, and then you can tell, and I really feel probably most of us think we have good posture, but we really don't.
Oh, I'm sure we probably don't.
It'd probably be fascinating to feel like what real posture is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because we just have a tendency to just slouch down over time.
I don't know if it would fit with the slave harness I have to wear at work.
You could just put that aside, or we could attach it to it.
Okay, like just you pull it back and all of a sudden you're sitting up straight.
Then you have nice posture.
One thing I have noticed is just walking around trying to stand up a little bit straighter, because it's like, hey, you're slouching, like stand taller. And it's like, I think I might be taller than I think I am. Like I don't normally. And man,
I'm going to get a new driver's license then. I'm taller.
In here, like in the studio, it's slouch, 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 sit up.
Yeah.
Slouch, 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 sit up. And that's a continual process.
That's not our fault. I feel like the mics, even with our new mic arms, I just think they're, you have a tendency to just lean into them even more.
Well, you want to.
So it's a work hazard.
And so, okay, here, let's pull it up to my face. All right.
Then you sit back and your shoulders stay back
Shoulders
and
are
down.
back.
I always hunch my shoulders up, too.
Now my legs dangle off this chair so I can kick them.
Great.
They don't touch the floor.
Then you find out that you think you're having, again, better posture and you've ruined it.
I don't know. But now I'm sitting back now. Shoulders back. Do you guys
Stomach in?
You guys feel more positive about my...
Seems like you sound better.
Yeah, I agree completely. Let's take some Fitspo pictures. Look at me. I'm mentally and physically more prepared to meet the day.
Hey, no, it is probably true, though, to have better posture. It seems like it makes sense.
San Francisco State University says, sit up, you slouching whatever person.
The Riot has a problem with authority.
It's a little rule. Maybe you're not familiar with it. Nobody tells me what to do, ever.
Let's talk about morning pizza. I think it's something that we really need more of in the world. It should be. And I don't mean breakfast pizza either, where you're like, gravy is the sauce.
Now, there's something really good about, though. If you think about a biscuit crust and then scrambled eggs and gravy and cheese. Oh, it just sounds great. But you mean just having any sort of pizza at breakfast time.
I agree with you that a breakfast-style pizza it's a glorious thing. I'm not saying that it's not, but I am saying that it would be great if we were more acceptable of, just crust with a garlicky, buttery something on it.
Just something like that.
A little red sauce, some cheese.
Well, I feel like other parts of the world, remember, they don't have a breakfast style of food. We really limit certain items to what we feel are only fine during breakfast time, when a lot of other places you can eat what you want anytime.
Come on, let's innovate, everybody. Let's get ourselves some breakfast pizza, right? So the U.S. Pizza Museum is supposed to open this Friday. They have existed online, kind of. They've done some pop-up locations, but they are moving into a permanent location in Chicago's South Loop neighborhood, opening this Friday. And it's going to be open, I guess it's not forever, but they say they'll be open from now.
Pop-up, then.
And that's what I'm thinking.
Guys.
They say from now through the end of October.
That's a pop-up.
Okay. They say it's not.
Well, it is, though.
But they say it's not.
That's not even half a year of rent. That is a pop-up.
You know what, Nikki? You can call it what you want, and they're going to call it what they want.
Now, I agree.
And they're not calling it a pop-up.
How can you pick a spot for pizza and, say this is where the museum's located when it's not a worse thing that it rotates around different places? Or it should.
I don't know.
But that's a pop-up.
It's 3,000 square feet, and they say that this museum tells, and I quote, the full story of pizza.
Do you get pizza while you're there?
No, you don't.
Oh.
You can buy pizza-related memorabilia, though. Lots of that.
If I was doing a pizza food truck, guess where I would be parked at? Pretty close.
Well, they do say that there are lots of Chicago pizza places within walking distance.
Sure, walking
around.
And
there will be pizza food trucks, as you have said. So
that's a good idea.
They'll be set up outside. Admission is free, but timed tickets are required.
Seems like they're trying to make it like the ice cream museum, how that was really popular.
Yeah, well, but in Chicago, too, because, they got a pizza thing going there. They believe in pizza.
They do.
In Chicago, which is why you and I should get a Chicago-style pizza.
For breakfast? It does sound good, doesn't it?
It does. Where it's just like, hey, it's so big. Are you eating a block of Velveeta?
Yes, we are.
Well, kind of.
Oh, man, now you have to think about that.
Oh, you don't have to. You get to.
I don't want to, but I do.
My favorite part of the worst of the Riot, when they shut up and the music starts. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
The Winnie the Pooh movie, Christopher Robin, came out on Friday. But not worldwide.
Not worldwide, and we'll talk about that. So your question of the morning, Winnie the Pooh lives in what fictional forest?
You've got David. He was first with your correct answer.
All right, David, what's your answer?
The answer is the 100-acre wood.
You are correct, sir.
Have a fantastic morning. Enjoy Death Therapy. You got their new album, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. You guys rock.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
So, oftentimes, when a movie is not doing well, they say, we'll just see how it does in China.
Well, that can make or break because it's such a huge movie market there. It makes a lot of money.
They can make a lot more money or some of the money back in China, but a movie that will not be playing in China the Winnie the Pooh movie that was released over the weekend. I guess technically it's called Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
And the reason it won't be playing is because online, the current head guy in China, Chinese President Xi Jinping,
he's very sensitive about this. This is not the first time.
Everybody makes fun of him as being Winnie the Pooh. So they post a lot of memes of him as Winnie the Pooh.
So they don't want to release the Christopher Robin movie in China, so it's been banned.
They have banned the Christopher Robin movie because the president gets sensitive about it.
Wouldn't we all?
Well, I mean, sure, but in a lot of ways, it's a compliment. What he really needs to do is own this thing.
I don't think he has the humor for that.
I'm sure he doesn't, because people who get elected almost never have a sense of humor about themselves.
What would Disney do? Like, as a company, it would be like, well, yeah, okay, fine. Or you have to set up a meeting, be like, sir, you're not Winnie the Pooh. Like, this movie, can we please release it here?
Like, oh, come on. Come on, guy. Come on now.
The more that he does this, the more people compare him. It's become like it's just a meme thing, and not a mean thing, a meme thing where they compare him to Winnie the Pooh.
The memes are hilarious. It's funny. And the thing that makes it even more funny is that he's so sensitive about it.
See, it makes it worse.
It does. If he would just be like, all of a sudden he just show up dressed like Winnie the Pooh, that's all it would take to kill it. He
went to the premiere.
Yeah, like if he just owned it, if he showed up at the premiere dressed like Winnie the Pooh or something like that, at that point it's just like,
But now everyone knows he really is super sensitive about being called Winnie the Pooh.
He just has to own it, but he's not going to.
No, he's the leader of that, so he's not going to.
So I mean, he's gonna, throw your family in prison and send you to a work camp.
No, he's just gonna ban it from the country.
Or ban the movie, whatever.
Like, where'd Winnie the Pooh go? Nope, you can't have it.
Yeah, so, like, no more chances for Pooh. They can't get in on that Chinese money.
Wonder how that does affect if it would have been an extremely popular movie there or made some money. Again, how does that affect the studio?
I mean, the best thing that could happen to that movie is if it became a protest movie in China if they had been released it. Now they'll just pirate it to death. So,
what are you pirating?
Which is weird because they never do that in China. They never do that.
I'd be really embarrassed.
Oh, man. You know what? Sure, let's pirate it. I do want to see it, I think. Sure. I do. Kind of.
Maybe that's one of those perfect
rental.
Yeah, that's one of those deals.
Yeah. Like, hey, the rental's 99 cents. I'll take it.
The Riot sees gas station hot dogs as part of a balanced breakfast.
Is that bad?
Well, not good.
It's The Riot on RadioU.
Who wants a crappie?
A what?
A crappie, Nikki.
What's that?
It's a kind of fish. So you could literally...
No, is it really or carp?
No. There's carbs, but there's crappies.
What type is that?
Crappies are a genus, Promoxis, of North American freshwater fish in the sunfish family. Both species in this genus are popular panfish, a.k.a.
You cook it in a pan?
I think that's what that means.
Sounds about right.
It's a crappie, and it's not a carp. It is literally a crappie fish.
You go and fish, and you finally catch something, and be like, hey, you got a crappie. And they're like, no, it's not in a mean way.
Oh, it's nice. It's a nice fish.
That's the name of it.
It's called a crappie.
I've never been fishing before.
Never?
No, never.
I don't like it. I mean, you know what? I actually like everything about fishing except for the fish.
Well, we're fascinated by, I see everybody on like Sunday. It seems like that's a popular day to go on out. And I know a few people who like that's your relaxing thing.
Yeah.
That's what you like to do. And it seems like why wouldn't I like it? But I think I just stand there in the water.
I love everything about fishing except for the fish.
The fish part.
I don't like touching fish because they're gross, and I don't like eating fish. See rule number one.
And even if you don't eat them, if you put them back, that's still mean because you've scared them quite a lot.
Scared them and maybe given them a real good cut to think about it.
So I don't know if that's the nicest.
Well, we've got a couple in Minnesota, 70-year-old and his 60-year-old wife. They have just been charged with possession of fish over the limit. What? They're breaking the rules, Nikki. They had over 300 or nearly 300 crappies.
So
And
the fish.
so they call that's poaching. It's illegal.
Well, that's more than a normal amount. That's almost getting into you're a professional fisherman or something, or like it's a business.
And so they were out there catching fish, and they somebody sold them out to the Bobo.
Someone told them. Someone mad.
Somebody called the Turn-In Poachers tip line, which, by the way, Turn-In Poachers is tip, so it's the tip line. Somebody called the tip line. And they were like, oh, yeah.
So did they have them at home, or were they just having a really good fishing day?
I don't know.
Or like, what do you do with it? Do you just freeze them? Do you eat them during the Minnesota winters?
Probably. Nick, our news guy, he says that crappie is pronounced crappie. Wrong.
Nick, you don't know.
I reject that.
No, you can't say it that way.
This is just the man trying to keep the truth down. It's not a crappie. It's a crappie. I'm calling them crappies. That's what they are. They're crappie fish.
That's how it looks to us.
And I don't care what they say. You can call it crappie, but that's a crappie fish.
Yeah,
for
okay,
sure.
So they're in trouble?
Yeah, they're busted.
Do you get a
that's
fine
like $3,000 fine.
Dude, I'll tell you though, Minnesota sounds lovely though if that's the worst. Instead of it being like a drug bust, it's, you have too many fish.
Too many fish. What I love is the way they have a photo of all the fish laid out. That was somebody's job. All right, lay them all out so we can count them. So they did.
Bob, get on in here.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing? Listen, bring in the rook. All right, rook, get over there and count those fish. No, you count them twice. I don't want to hear about it.
See, this is just how it is in our head.
It's perfect. I love it. The idea. Oh, yeah.
So what is it called?
Well, Nick says it's a crappie.
Crappie.
But that sounds like something a British person would say. Let's just crop. No, this is a crappie fish, I say.
But it is a type of fish, and you shouldn't fish too many of them.
Well, you get a license, you get so many fish a day, like 5 or 10 or whatever it is in the area. And these people are like 5, 10, 300, whatever. It's fine. Whatever.
Just put them under a blanket. No one will notice them. And then someone told on them.
No, we're going to let them shine. We're not going to let you hide them under a blanket.
You could be learning jujitsu right now, or how to drive a race car, or do anything productive with your life, but no. You're listening to the worst of the riot on RadioU.
It is the Riots. You want to say what's up to Eli? Nikki, he called us at 877-2-RADIO-U, and we talked crappies, which he insists are, in fact, crappies.
Crappies, the fish?
He says that Nick is right, which is a sentence that I can only repeat but not say for myself.
Well, since he told us, we'll go with it.
Got another text here that says, crappie are delicious. Fillet them, give them a cornmeal coating, and deep fry them. That's enough to make any redneck happy.
Sounds, I guess, pretty good.
I don't want fish.
I know, you just don't like it.
I don't want fish.
And that's okay. That's fine.
I don't feel like it is. I feel like there's, again, I told you about my stepmom whose voice lives in my head, who's like, you're just not hungry enough.
Eat, Obi, eat.
You're so picky, you'd never make it.
Why? Fish is a strong thing. I mean, it's not for everybody. And especially there's I believe, more like popular fish where it's a little bit more okay compared to, I've never heard of this one before. I might not go with it on the menu.
The other thing that's hard, Nikki, is that I find myself in a position where there's a lot of peer pressure on me about fish. Like, I go out and visit family, and they're like, fishing is the best. That's what real men do.
They live on the coast. They live on the coast.
They want me to go fishing, and then I'm like, all right, I'm fishing. And they're like, all right, we're going to catch this fish, and you got to clean it and eat it. And I'm like, but that's barfy. I just go to McDonald's and get chicken McNuggets.
It's weird.
If you were a real man, you'd gut this fish and eat it.
I understand what you're saying because, like, to me, someone going out fishing, getting their own fish, bringing it home, cleaning it, taking the scales off, and then eating it, no different than someone who's like, here's the chicken. Okay, kill the chicken, or pluck the chicken, make the chicken. I couldn't do either one of those.
I have family who do.
Like, I don't know how to do that.
They'll do all of that.
That's weird.
Which is why I am even more of an outcast, because I literally am like, I'm going to be playing this game on my tablet while you guys do that.
Actually, what would be great is if they're doing that and you're like, yeah, here's my fishing game.
Here, watch this. This is how I fish.
This is all I can do.
Check me out, dude.
Well, it's something. I mean, you guys will probably, if you do that, you'll live longer if anything happens, because you'll know how to live, and we can't even fish.
You're going to get all those omega-3s.
It's a good fat.
It's a fatty acid.
It's a fish
good for
fat.
You. Mm-hmm.
But I get that from the vitamins. Those.
You just
full
take
of fish
them.
Oil.
And then you burp fish. That's a good one, too.
All right. Well, thanks for texting us and calling.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Now I'm going to go back to my self-doubting time and
Food fights, band interviews, Twitter fights. How else would you want to start your morning?
I feel traumatized, bruh. And now I'm tweeting about you, bruh. And now you're trending, bruh. And now your life is ruined, bruh. And now you're fired, bruh.
It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki and I right now are looking at what I think looks awesome.
So this could be the new It game for the rest of the season, you think?
I don't know if that's true, but don't you think it looks fun?
Oh, no, I don't.
You don't?
It depends on the price. It really depends on the price.
Well, that's for darn sure.
If it was super cheap, this could be like, yes, I'm buying it in a silly way, and I'm just going to play with it.
We're talking about Bee Simulator.
It's a game.
It is a game where you are a bee. And so you got to go around, you got to gather
you do bee things.
Stuff to bring back to the nest.
The hive.
To see how I need to be taught about bees.
Learn.
I got a lot of bee learning to do.
Well, it's coming to the PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and you're basically exploring the world in Central Park in New York.
It's awesome. So you fly around and you're the size
co-op.
of you're the size of a bee. And so you're flying around, wasps will attack you. You've got to be careful. You got to look out for people. They'll try to swat you, and you've got stuff that you're supposed to do. I think it looks cool. I love the idea of flying around, being small and, flying around Central Park. That sounds cool.
So this isn't by like a major studio, is it?
I believe you'd refer to this as like an independent studio.
It makes sense.
I mean, I don't see...
Someone with a love of bees is like, I must make my game.
I don't see EA like, all right, we got Madden, we got FIFA, we got Battlefield 5, and we got the Bee game.
It's coming out soon.
Bee Simulator's going to kill them all.
Bee Simulator 18.
So I was looking at it. Oh, gosh, do you think you get attacked by those birds? I'll bet you do. I'll bet those birds want to eat you.
Hey, don't spoil the game.
What? Okay.
I want to experience.
There are birds in Central Park.
What happens? I want to be surprised.
Me too.
I don't want this game, though.
Why? See, I actually feel like this is something that you would like. What is the...
No, these games...
I feel like you have distaste for this. It's not just not interested.
Because I know they're going to charge a lot of money for this, and I don't see why. But also, these are hard games for me because they're like, oh, you need to carry out these quests. And like, you're living your life as a bee, and you've got to do these certain things. It's very hard if you get attached to a game or you start getting involved in it, and then your real life chores or your real life responsibilities are taking a hit because you're living a bee life.
Well, first off, the phrase living a bee life, that
Never
right
said
there,
that,
I'll tell you what that is right now. That is the name of your hip hop album.
Is it?
It is. Nikki B and her new album, Living a Bee Life.
In my bee life.
Yes.
They're like, here you could just fly around and do bee things where your real life stuff is struggling.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, listen, Nikki, everything in its season, yesterday I mowed the lawn and I did my bills. So like today, if I want to go home and make some honey,
and then you can make some honey.
I don't see what the big deal is.
How much is it going to be?
I don't know yet.
How much for the bees?
It doesn't say. I am looking at it on Steam here, and it just says fall 2018. So there is not a release date on it, and there is not data on what it will cost.
Well, once we find out how much it is, then we'll talk again.
Okay, tell me this. How much do you think it's worth?
How much
would you be willing to pay for Bee Simulator?
I would really like it to be under $5, but I'm sure that's too much. So I would say definitely under $10.
I feel like at $10.
If that was that price, maybe.
Yeah, but then I'd wait for the Christmas sale, and I'd want it to be less than that.
Aaron, good question. Is the Bee game made by Jerry Seinfeld? No. That was the Bee movie that he did. This looks a lot like it, but it's not.
And it's technically called Bee Simulator. I'm interested in it. I love these games where it's not so much the bee part, but the idea of like, all right, you're going to fly around. Like, here's the big human world, but you're small and you're going to fly around. People are asking, can you sting people? It actually does not say. You have a stinger.
Don't you die if you sting a person, if you're a bee? Isn't that what you're not supposed to?
I think it depends on what kind of bee you are. Here's what it says. I have a sting and I'm not afraid to use it. The world of bees is not as carefree as one may think. Wasps and some of the less friendly people, will take any chance to ruin your plans. Don't hesitate to use your sting to save your swarm from enemies. Sounds like you're going to be stinging people, Nikki.
That's your weapon.
Well, hey, that's part of the bee experience. You sting people.
In the bee simulator.
And you know what? It's a hard world out there for bees.
Oh, it is. Well,
it's hard out there.
Coming this fall. Can't wait.
Is there anything you like at all?
If it was the bear simulator, hello.
Ooh, let's Google that. Is that a
If
thing?
there's that, I'd spend money on that.
Starting your day with the worst of the riot is a great idea because it's guaranteed to get better from here. It's the Riot on Radio U.
So just a matter of recap, okay? We talked about Crappie Fish, which some people say are crappies, but that's ridiculous. Then
But a Minnesota couple got in trouble for taking too many.
Then we played KB. Bzzz. And then we talked about Bee Simulator. And
Upcoming game out this fall.
Then we played Wolves at the Gate.
Oh, yeah, actually, you're right.
Okay.
Oh, and Tiger Drive. Everything animals.
Now, right as we were leaving that break, Nikki said, well, if you could find Bear Simulator, I might be interested.
Is there such a thing?
Hello, Bear Simulator.
Is it out now, or?
It's out now,
Well, send me
Nikki.
the stuff.
I've got Bear Simulator. The one thing you're not going to like is the
What's
price
the one
tag.
game where you, cheeseburger? What's that one game?
Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5, yeah.
Cheeseburger is your sidekick. Cheeseburger. Okay, so there we have it, Bear Simulator. And here's I love the description. It's a game where you play as a bear and explore stuff.
Titled perfectly.
I'll just tell you, they don't really build a lot on that.
Sure.
But, Nikki, look at that. You can play it on the Mac.
Prepare to be a bear. Nice. Why is he jumping in the water like that?
But bears, they get in the water?
No, he's like jumping from a cliff.
Well, you know, Nikki, sometimes when you're making a game, you have to...
Will this work? Mac user, not sure.
Well, it says right here that it works on the Mac.
Oh, it does?
Let's see. Recommended.
Yeah, I see. $15, $14.99.
Oh, Nikki, that's a big bear money. Bear money build all this. 7
different regions from the regular forest, mountaintop, or maybe take a long walk on the beach or spooky woods. I don't want to spend money on this. I take it back.
View your bear through Bearface Cam. With it, you can display your hats.
What? Your bear hats?
I guess this bear gets a hat.
Oh, apparently.
So look at that. It's perfect, Nikki. Like Bear Simulator.
Okay. Well,
be the bear.
Be the bear.
Oh, shoot. Wait, that's bees.
That's the bee simulator.
My bad.
Maybe I'll save this as a gift. Someone for...
You just add that later.
Yeah, that's my wish list.
You go right ahead and put that on your wish list.
Don't you dare buy that for me. That's going on the wish list. I hope no one ever
I can't ever buy Nikki anything. She's just like, I take it back and get the gift credit.
I can't return this one.
You can if you play it for like less than however many hours or whatever.
You can?
Yeah. You
Well,
can
thanks for
process
finding
a
it
refund.
for me. All reviews say very positive. 256 reviews on this thing.
Look at that. Look at that. Wow. So be a bear, Nikki. Isn't that great?
Now we'll be a tiger.
Yeah, let's just get into more of this animal-centric music and talk.
I think this will end it.
Could
No
wrap it
more
up
animals
here.
after that.
Sure, the Riot could start eating healthy, or they could continue living happy, enjoyable lives. The Riot on Radio U.
So, most of us, maybe not, you know what? I feel like it's most of us, but maybe that's just my own little corner of the world, have got Netflix.
Your bubble. No, I think most people do too.
A lot of people do. And so when things come up for Netflix, it's fascinating. And an article today on cracked.com, which they make listicles that are surprisingly well researched at times. I often find myself enjoying articles from them, even though they don't always make it to the show. That's more me just off having some fun, you know?
Your personal web browsing.
But this in particular is fascinating.
Dude, he's got a lot of examples on this.
He gives, 11 examples of different ways. He was looking at his Netflix account and then his wife's Netflix account, or, the different profiles. and he was showing how the different TV shows and movies are marketed to him as a man versus how they are marketed to his wife as a woman. So his first example is a show called The Forest.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this movie or TV show is about. And so as a man, your picture, your little icon for The Forest is a naked woman with her back to you standing in a field of grain or something.
In the forest.
In the forest. But if you're a woman, it's a wolf. Like there's a dog in the forest.
It's really weird. It's a lot of like, they think a man would appreciate seeing this more for the picture. So you get a lot of close up of women.
Right.
Compared to groups of women. Like if there's more than one character, they'll show you a more friendlier group setting shot. It's just very odd.
It's amazing. So like for the ABC show Quantico, they show the main character, and for women, she's in like business casual, giving strong, intense look. For the male account, she's in a tank top and being manhandled, basically forced down the street by some guy.
It's so weird. It's so wrong. And this actually happened to me now that I remember. There's a Korean show that I like, and it has a female lead character. So I remember the picture for the show was of the main female lead. Then it changed one day to the guy, and it's showing him working out. And that's the picture now for the show. I was like, well, why is that the picture?
Because you want to watch that guy work out,
apparently, since
don't
I'm
you?
a woman, they're like, this is what I would want to see more.
Another example, like a couple more, like Orange is the New Black. The female version of it is like the main character looking kind of distraught. She's in prison. And the guy picture is one of the girls taking off her shirt and showing the other woman.
Come on, Netflix, we're better than this, aren't we?
Nope.
I mean, I know it's a formula. It's going to be a thing.
Nope, it's not. And so it's amazing to look at where they're just like, you know, we can talk all day about gender equality and whatever. And Netflix is like, we know which side of the bread the butter goes on. We know
that's
how
what they're
it
doing.
works.
And I have just noticed in general, they change a lot more of, so what do you call it? It's not the screenshot.
The tile?
The title or the title card or whatever
Sure,
for a show.
I like that title card.
I've noticed that they change those up a lot now.
Well, it makes you feel like something's new when it's not.
When you've already seen it, or you've seen the title at least before.
They're essentially putting a new cover on the book and hoping that this edition will be enough to bring you back in. So, you know, I mean, I get it. Like, as a man, what am I more likely to look at? The naked woman's back or the wolf? I mean, you know, the woman's going to get my attention. Though I will tell you, I'm the kind of person that these days I'm like, you know what?
You can see what they're doing.
That's not only can I see what you're doing, but if this is what's in this show, I probably shouldn't be watching it. So I'm going to skip it. And in fairness, the wolf show, I'd be like, I don't want to see a show about a wolf.
You're just skipping it all together.
Besides, I don't even like being in the forest.
They're really trying to find a card or a picture that'll work for you, but it's hard.
Look, there's a robot in the forest. How did that robot get in the forest, and what is he doing there?
I must watch it now. That's how you do it.
Click.
We thought about selling the worst of the riot, but let's be honest, no one is buying this stuff. Get it for free on the RadioU app.
I mean, there might be times when I would say to you, I don't know if I really want a donut right now, but that's probably just after I had donuts. See what I mean?
Like you've already had your share of them, so you're good. You can say no then.
So basically, yes, I want a donut. I want one right now.
But do these look good to you? I don't know if the flavors are kind of up what you normally like.
It's true. So what we're looking at here is Krispy Kreme. They just celebrated their 81st birthday here in the United States. They put some confetti in the glazed donuts. Sounds delicious. My mouth is watering right now. But in Japan, they got a little something else going on. They're doing a limited menu called Tasty Asian Sweets. And I thought we would take a look and see if there are any of these that we're actually interested in.
If you think looks good.
Up first, Hong Kong almond tofu.
So there's a Japanese dessert called the almond tofu. It's a donut filled with milky cream that's like tofu. White chocolate topped with tiny flecks of gold powder and goji berries.
I don't know what a goji berry tastes like. Do you?
Yeah, I've had it in a couple of smoothies. It's something. It's usually like, hey, you have a healthy smoothie. You put some goji berries in it with some cacao. They go hand in hand.
Doesn't sound very good to me. How about the Thai mango cheesecake?
That one looks
donut?
good.
I mean, come on. It's cheesecake.
So this one's from, Thailand.
And mangoes are good.
Cheesecake flavored cream, then a frosting made from mango.
Okay. Vietnamese chai?
Sure. I guess we'll go.
It's a traditional dessert drink in Vietnam. It's a blend of diced fruits, jellies, and beans. It's topped with lychee and strawberry glaze and garnished with chunks of dragon fruit and mango. I don't want it. I don't want that.
I think that sounds good.
I don't want that, Nikki. Keep your Vietnam
I'll keep that
donut.
one.
And then last but not least, the Taiwan pineapple cake, which is a pineapple cake is a popular pastry in Taiwan.
It's a feng li shu.
I'm out. I don't want that. You know what? Give me some peanut butter and chocolate.
But this one is made with powdered cream cheese, the dough, and pineapple sauce. You might actually like that one.
Sounds, do you guys have like a Reese peanut butter cup donut?
You're in the wrong palate for that.
You guys have
Then
that?
they're doing a savory donut, a Thai spicy green curry one, stuffed with chicken, eggplant, coconut milk, fish sauce, hot and spicy pastry, like a curry sandwich.
Yeah, I don't want
So
this.
these are not in the United States, though.
They're not.
Those
are in Japan.
In Japan through September. So you have till the end of next month.
It is always interesting to see the varieties of food that franchises we have serve in other countries.
Yeah.
I think it would be kind of fascinating to get a chance to at least go try them, but not fly halfway across the world.
If we happen to be there, that'd be one thing. But as far as like going just for the tasty Asian sweets for Krispy Kreme in Japan, probably not.
I'll tell you what, don't underestimate the power of a straight glazed donut. I've said this before, but I realize that we
cake donut.
We like to pile stuff on a donut, but sometimes just a donut. Just donuts being donuts.
One thing that I want to see is people who travel to Japan who try places that are common here.
Yeah.
The quality and the truthfulness of what you see is what you get is shocking. Like even at a McDonald's. Yeah. Here, they're just slapping it together. But there, it really does look a lot like the advertisements. And it looks true to what they're selling.
Well, we should go.
So it's interesting to kind of go to places that, Krispy Kreme here or Krispy Kreme there.
Go check it out.
The Riot. All
right, pace yourself because you're going to have to do this all day for very little money.
RadioU.
About to do something stupid, guys. I'm going to take my car to the dealership to get an oil change. Let me tell you how they get you in, all right? The oil change is cheap. They use synthetic oil. Like, it really is a good deal on the oil change. And then they're like, oh, you need to rotate the tires. And I'm like, I just bought the tires.
You need to rotate them again.
You're supposed to rotate your tires every 50 miles for the first 1,000 miles, right? So we'll rotate them for you. And do you want us to lube the chassis while we have the wheel off?
And they bring you in the air filter or the little filter thing, which is obviously very dirty.
Like, let me show you this filter. See how dirty it isn't? $80 will replace it for you.
It's not even yours they're bringing in.
That's right. They just have a prop filter. Look at this. Oh, good Lord. It's the worst.
That's true.
We got to change this thing out.
You are running a risk going to the dealership.
I could swap that out for $12. You don't want to be bothered by that. For $95, we can change this for you. And what about the cabin air filter? Good Lord.
But it's a good deal on your oil change.
Yeah, it is. So you go in there and you got to be ready for them. Salesmen are walking through the waiting room like, oh, you're not driving that, are you? Get on it. Let's get in here and get you in a new car. You need a larger payment, son. Seriously. You're driving a CRV. Let's put you in a truck.
That's why it takes so long to get all your stuff changed at the dealership when really it doesn't take that long at all. They just want you to look around.
It's high pressure. They want you in there looking. I'm in there with my laptop getting ready for the riot the next day.
Drinking free coffee.
Drinking their free coffee. And they're like, that one right there. Go get him. All right. It's time for another pass. It's real, guys. It's real. Now, all of that being said, I've been sitting here thinking about it. I think that my feelings towards the car dealership are in a lot of ways the way a lot of us feel about God. Somebody mentions God and you're like, you got to get defensive because God's just trying to squeeze you into something that's way worse than where you are right now. You can't trust him. He's like, look how dirty your filter is. And you're like, no, it's clean.
There might be free coffee, but you're just not sure.
He's just using that to sucker you in, to overcharge you for lubing your chassis or whatever the heck it is they make up and do. And I get that. I do. I've been in a relationship with Jesus for a while, and it's still sometimes when people start talking about God, I'm like, all right, hang on. Like, you got to get defensive. You got to wait to see what they're going to try to sucker you into. And hey, people might be like that. People actually, you've probably experienced that. People are using God's name like a air filter at a dealership. They're trying to sucker you into something, right? But here's something I want you to know. God himself, Jesus, who he really is, he doesn't want to sucker you into anything. He wants to have a relationship with you. God loves you. He believes in you. He wants good things for you. He literally wants to adopt you into his family, call you his kid, and be with you forever, all the time, no matter what. Pretty great, right? Yeah, so what's the catch? Where we at here? What you talking about? No catch. God loves you. And if you be willing to accept him, he wants to accept you. It's that simple. If you're up for it, hey, this is a great place to start. Just say, Jesus, I want that. Come into my life. Fill me with your spirit. I want to be a part of your family. And man, it really is that easy to start. And you can pray and ask him to help you not to get suckered at the dealership later.
If you need the help.
God help me. I'm going to the dealership later. Run interference for me, oh Lord.
Wish the worst of the riot would never end?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
What is wrong with you? Get our daily podcast through iTunes, Google Play, or the RadioU app.
Fortnite, it's a thing. Right now, it's available on everything except Android.
Really? Oh, I guess I forgot about that.
Still no Android, and that is a glaring problem in the phone space, because if you're somebody that loves Fortnite and you know that you can play Fortnite on an Apple device, but you can't play it on your Android device, problem.
Well, I feel like it looks bad because you really can play it almost literally on everything.
Yeah.
And to be the last one, it just doesn't show well.
Well, it's one of those things where it's a thing, right?
So, but it's hard, though. There's the problem is there's a lot of Android phones.
There are.
And we have this problem, too, with our free RadioU app. Yay!
Right.
And it's very hard to create an Android app that works seamlessly across all of the variations of Android phones. And there's so many of them that companies can come up with problems because it might work on all the major Android phones, but then, well, maybe a couple of years ago, or this weird model, not weird, this different model over there or this one over here might have problems. So it's just a lot of bugs for them to figure out.
And Nikki's right. Another problem with Android. Here's something interesting, though. You know, like when you get Fortnite on the iOS or on your iPhone or Android, iPhone or iPad, that's what I wanted to say. You've got to download it from the App Store. Well, with Android, it's kind of a more free and open thing. And as a result, they are not going to, when they release Fortnite later this summer, they are not going to release Fortnite through Google Play. You're going to have to get it directly from them.
Mm-hmm. That's weird. I wonder why.
I can tell you why right now.
They don't want to pay the money?
30%.
Oh.
So if you
download... the in-app purchases?
So like Fortnite would be free when you download it, but the in-app purchases, 30% of in-app purchases go to Google Play.
Yeah, but they're paying Apple for that stuff.
They are, but they don't have a choice. Because with Apple's a completely closed platform.
Sure.
There's nothing you can do. But with Android, it's an open platform.
I gotcha. So they don't have to be on that store if they don't want to, but then still have an Android version that you can download.
Right. I mean, Amazon does something very, very similar. Like on my phone right now, I've got the Google Play App Store, but I also have the Amazon App Store where I've downloaded, stuff for my Android phone. And so they're like, hey, it's cool. You'll just download our Epic store for your phone and you can download it that way. And then they get to keep 100% of what they sell to you.
Why wouldn't they want that?
I mean, in fairness, if I said to you, I have $10 for you, now do you want 7 or do you want 10? you would want the 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's kind of where they're at.
All right, so for Fortnite, that seems to be the plan when it does come to Android.
Yeah, and they say it'll be out this summer, keeping in mind that you're like, man,
it's
school
already
starts
August.
next week.
Summer still goes, I mean, we have time.
Technically, summer goes until September 21st.
And what happens whenever someone says a specific season, it just means like the last day.
September 19th.
You'll get it somewhere
September 20th.
later next month.
Yep, that is probably true. But I would bet, I mean, it makes sense. You want to have this ready when you go back to school. So that way, you don't have to pay attention. You just play Fortnite on your phone. Makes sense to me.
The Riot with Obadiah.
Oh, loneliness and cheeseburgers are a dangerous mix.
The Riot with Nikki.
Shut up.
Oh, don't tell me to shut up!
The Riot on Radio U.
It was big news, Nikki.
Big news on what?
Big news over the weekend. Sir Patrick Stewart, the actor.
Oh, don't. I know you guys have been asking for him to talk about it.
I know people have texted like, hey, have you talked about it
and
yet?
when I saw it over the weekend, I said, yes, I'm sure we'll talk about this.
Look, it's only going to take 3 minutes.
Which captain was he?
It was Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Of the
Star Trek The Next Generation.
Asian show? Okay.
Yeah, so that was the one that, did that start in the 80s or the 90s? I don't know, whatever. But that was the one that, like, Star Trek had been gone for a while. They were only making movies, and this brought it back to TV. And then they did The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, then took a break, and now they've been doing Star Trek Discovery only on CBS All Access.
Nice.
But one of the things they've said is like, hey, the Star Trek thing is going well for them. We're going to start making some new Star Trek stuff.
So will the CBS All Access thing stay on, or like what's this?
Star Trek Discovery Season 2 is a go.
Yeah.
And that's something I believe we'll see this fall. And then they're going to do Star Trek Discovery Shorts, which I can't remember what they're called, but they're
all of our everyday wear.
Right. And tanks.
You mean short stories or like short clips of it?
I don't know how long they're going to be, but they'll be shorter. And they announced over the weekend, Patrick Stewart did at a convention, that he is coming back as Captain Picard, and there will be a new Star Trek show revolving around him.
Where will that go?
It will also be on CBS All Access.
So they'll have two shows, or will he join that show?
No, it will be a different show. The only thing about that makes me go like, is the way he talks about it. It's so vague. It could be like, this is Captain Picard in retirement when he took up painting. And, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
It's like the further life stories of Captain Picard. And I don't know if that's an actor being a little flowery. Like, I want to know, is there going to be a ship? Will he shoot stuff? What about the Borg?
Yes, that might not be it.
That's what I want to know, guys. Come on.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait for more details.
Well, it's interesting because, Nikki, we haven't seen a Star Trek show that has pushed past almost like a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
I think since Star Trek Nemesis, that movie. So, like, they haven't done everything they've done Star Trek has been a prequel up until this point. So this is the first thing they will have done that takes place after established Star Trek canon, and I just saw some people fall asleep.
That's it.
We'll just
that's
stop
all
there.
we got.
We'll just stop there.
That's all you had to tell us.
We'll just stop right there.
You're canon.
I'm curious.
I guess we'll see what happens with CBS.
I mean, I didn't stay up late, on IRC and or what? I can't remember the name of it. The thing. I was fine. I wasn't talking about it all weekend. I'm done.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Just throw some sauce in a bucket and we'll just come.